Well, we can talk about it. We still have quite a while until the release. We probably are going to release another podcast episode before that happens, or maybe we'll just publish the podcast for the release day. We'll see. Speaking of release days, well, this is going to be closed beta, as we said, because you still need to sign up for it and everything. So by definition, it is closed, although pretty much everybody gets the key who signs up. So it's kind of like open beta. You just have that stupid additional step where you actually need to sign up. So yeah, when do you think we're gonna get open beta release, an actual open beta? And will they try to aim it's really up to us, right? Because closed beta, that's obviously Chinese only. But with Chinese open beta, may also come back, Western open beta, because they say, hey, Chinese version is being played by Europeans and Americans, and they really want their own servers so that they can, get to play, don't have the queue time issues that they have and ping issues and all the other issues they have. So yeah, we're bringing it back, but we need to make it known to CA. So anyway, we get closed beta towards the end of September. When would you guys expect open beta and what that open beta would entail?
What I'm hoping it would entail, the design will no longer center around who is going to publish it. I'm actually glad that NetEase took over, and from the looks of it, they're actually kind of being a more hands-off, because even back from the Steam days, it felt very World of Tanks in its design. And that just does not work well with this game. That's pretty much all I sort of want to see when it comes to release. Let it take as long as it does.
Yes, sir. I agree.
I also agree. I think, it doesn't really matter when it comes out because we've all played the game. We know that the changes between open beta and closed beta, the absolute biggest change possible would be a new faction. And so, that's not really anything for us. I mean, we can learn the new faction, but pretty much just CA's work that they have to do, It doesn't really impact us.
I guess as long as it comes back to the West, it doesn't matter when it does. I mean, obviously, the sooner the better, I guess, but maybe not even necessarily. To be honest, right? If more time before the Western re-release, the Western comeback, the more patches they will be able to publish. Because what is important is how much the game will change, the balance, and all the issues being fixed that we talked about. Because if they were to bring back Arena to the West as it is right now, right, or how it will be with the new patch that we don't know the details of yet, but it's safe to assume that all the issues that we've talked about here will not be fixed in that patch. It's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
So if they were to return like that to the West, players who have played Arena before it died, they would come back and see, well, there's a new game mode, but elephants are still broken, pikes are still broken, heavy artillery is still broken, right? The charge mechanics are still not good. The melee detection unit coherency still doesn't feel right. So yeah, they changed the game mode, but all the other issues that I had with the game are still not fixed, even though, it was 2 years and I had time to fix it. So yeah, I would say fix all of those issues, or at least most of them, or at least not fix, but improve on them, at the very, very least improve on them. And then show the Western players, once you return to the West, an actual improvement. They'll be like, whoa, okay, now that's a game I can invest my time into. Because the first impression that you make on the players, and that return will not be the very first impression, but it'll be first impression in quite a while, is still very important. That is one of the issues I pointed out last time in one of the previous podcasts, that when they opened up the game, when they announced closed beta on Wargaming and started inviting a lot of players, they announced, the promoted Arena on Gamescom. That was back when pathfinding was absolutely broken, where your units couldn't walk straight around the corner, or even just straight not around the corner. They would just do all weird things. And that is the state of the game you show for the first time to a huge amount of players, and they just get put off by it. Right? So obviously the game is in a much better state than it was back then, with the broken pathfinding, which is an essential part of playing the game, is moving your units, for fuck's sake.
You know, you touch upon to a
But
very
it needs to be at least fleshed out in terms of balance and core mechanics. And then you can show that, hey guys, we may have not introduced many new features. We have introduced a new game mode, but we fixed all the balance issues, right? And then, well, let's try it out. The new balanced fixed version of the game. Do you like it? Do you like it? Okay. Here's a new feature. Here's a new game mode. Here's another new feature. Here's this. Here's this. Here's that. And here's more content. New faction. New faction. New faction. Just like World of Warships does, right? They iron out their issues. I mean, they didn't, but let's say they did. And now they're introducing new content all the time, and that's how they keep the game alive, right? So they need to use the Chinese downtime, let's say, like it's the Western, it's downtime for the Western audience, essentially. So use that time when the Western audience doesn't see what the hell is happening in Arena, most of them at least, fix all the issues, right? And then come back to that Western audience with a very, very polished game, and then keep the game alive in the West by producing new content, because that's also one of the biggest factors that killed Arena back then. It was the lack of the new content and just player base slowly getting bored.
Yeah. I think something that they could do as well, I mean, actually, I don't know if they can do this. I don't know what their, contracts, their, agreements, all the things that they've agreed to or whatever. I don't know what that entails, right? But I mean, I would think you could. It's not like, you can't make a few servers for North America or Europe, right? And have them just play with the Chinese. I mean, that's like, you already know how to make the servers. You did it how many times before? Yeah, you might even still have the servers that might just be powered down. Who knows? I don't know how that works.
But like random.
But if you get, I don't, unless there's something contractually stopping them from doing that, like it's a very low input of effort to, make your Western audience's life so much easier. I don't know. But, again, it might be like, well, you can't do that because exclusive NetEase, exclusive Chinese product, I don't know. I'm not their contract lawyer.
Yeah, it all depends on the contract. So right now it would all be speculation. I do hope that they can develop, and from the looks of it, they're given a lot bigger leeway in terms of designing. They are not bound to like, oh yes, we are making this for wargaming. Wargaming players is our target audience, therefore we must make it familiar to them. Here, no, we're just trying to make a good game. And yeah, the conquest mode would probably not the first one I would go for, but I can definitely see why people would go. That would be my second one, but it's definitely good. I just love the design. It always has the smart design.
And to answer Astolfo's question, right, about the possibility of American servers, even if that was a possibility, even if they did that, even when it was the case back on Steam, back on Wargaming, the American population was just too low, and they ended up playing with Europeans anyway on the European server, and you still had the increased ping. So you would have the same situation. Even if they introduced an American server, it would be very, very rare to find an American-only game that would actually be able to be played on the American server. I mean, European server might work, but as much.
I mean, you say that, but I never had a queue time. Like, I was never in queue for more than 23 to 40 seconds, ever.
Yeah, because also that's how matchmaking works. Maybe if they got you a much longer queue time, right, to prioritize playing on the same server, then they would probably find a game just full of Americans being able to play on American server.
I mean, even when I played with Europeans, my ping was never higher than 70.
I mean, think about it.
It's fine. American ping to Europe and vice versa is not a problem. The problem is ping to China.
Well, it's because it's routed through my server, right? That's closer. If I was directly connecting to, like, let's say a Berlin server, I would still have 260 ping.
Probably.
It's just that it can skip from a closer server, that it reduced it a ton. I don't know how they set it up or whatever, but I mean, I never had more than like 70 to 100.
You just set up a secret server in the CA headquarters, and there we go. And then maybe there will be some games between Europeans and Americans only that can be played.
And I don't
That's
even
it.
mind playing with the Chinese all the time. I would just like to be able to play at not 468 ping, which was what my ping was during the private test.
Well, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see because technology has advanced, server architectures have advanced, a lot of things have changed. We don't know what
Yeah,
they're
and
doing.
the Chinese
Let's
law
see
is
what's
regressing instead.
Yeah, but U.S. internet infrastructure is doing nothing.
Yes, because
Yeah,
that's
it is quite garbage. Yeah.
okay. Because let's admit, United States is a third world country wearing a first world country's coat.
I
In
mean,
terms of internet providers, yes.
my internet provider is just sad, and it's the only one in the area.
Yeah,
Yep,
you've got a
that's-
Wait
huge
till
issue.
Starlink comes up, dude.
Oh yeah, basically in my building, I gave Spectrum a giant middle finger and turned our entire building into its own ISP, and I love it. Sure,
Nice,
the
dude.
landlord had to pay a lot. Sure, landlord had to pay a lot by just giving them that middle finger, and landlord actually makes a ton of bank out of the service, even though I'm the one maintaining it. So, like, there is a way out as long as we can stand up to our corporate overlords. But the day that happens is the way comes to the world.
I
comes
mean,
to an end.
that's a similar thing that I did. I didn't set up my own server or whatever, but yeah, I had a LTE internet radio connection, right, 4G or whatever, and because I live on the outskirts, the connection was just very, very, very bad. And then I got a cable internet, so no problem. But recently it has been fucking up, and as you saw in the middle of this podcast, I got disconnected once. And I was like, hey, am I back? Am I back? Oh, I'm back. Hey, great. Yeah.
I mean, my internet's really slow, but it's never had ping issues. Like, I play at like 60 to 70 ping on, League of Legends in most games, right?
Yeah, because
So,
this doesn't
like-
require much data transition.
All right. But the second I was on the arena one, like 468, I mean, I basically just gave up on
I
charges.
mean, that's because China. I also have 200 to 300 ping. Because China. Because it's far away.
Also, it's probably they're not using their best servers for testing a game that has already failed.
Maybe.
I know I wouldn't.
But anyway, well, we I think exhausted all the topics. So let's finish
I
the
do
podcast
have
here.
one thing.
Oh,
I do have one
Go.
thing. Yes. What did they do with premium units?
At the moment, I think they are
Yeah,
disabled, but
penalty words.
I mean, yeah, because I think the law even prohibits it to have the premium
Sweet.
units. Yeah, you just cannot have premium units during testing, right? During such testing, but in here, closed beta 24/7, I think they can reintroduce them. I mean, they
Okay,
just didn't have a shop. They didn't have a way to buy gold anyway. So
I don't mind like I actually want cosmetics and stuff right in the game, but like the whole I'm just kind of a little bit afraid on that topic because I know like gacha games and like mobile games and like constantly pay to win is just huge in the East. I mean, I've played a
Yeah.
ton of MMOs from the East that were amazing games
FGO
and
is a
that were
great gacha game. Just saying.
absolutely ruined.
But FGO is single player, so nobody cares.
Like I don't know, let's say like I don't know, BDO, BNS. If you don't know the things, it's Black Desert and Blade and Soul, both Eastern MMOs, both had great gameplay, and they were just completely, absolutely ruined by their monetization. And yeah, I get it, like it's successful over there, and I just hope they don't go too hard.
I mean,
down that
Wargaming
path.
has a terrible monetization, and yet they're doing well, sadly. I think they shouldn't be doing well, but people are stupid, and Wargaming is absolutely capitalizing on it. But, well, it's not touching Arena anymore, so I guess we don't care. Let's just hope that CA will learn the lesson and not try to follow Wargaming in terms of their monetization models. But anyway, well, we've already made podcast about it, and maybe we'll make it again in the future. But this podcast has run for long enough. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you guys for joining me, Astolfo, Foxy, Arkliden. Great to have you here, and I'll hope to host you again on future podcasts.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, where we get to talk all about monetization or whatever the hell we want. So yeah, see you there.